Hello, everyone. It's William here at Allegory Gallery. Thank you for joining me today. I hope you're having a wonderful Wednesday. It
Hello,
is.
everyone.
Oh,
It's William here at Allegory Gallery.
sorry,
Thank
everybody.
you for
Let's turn that sound down. I was watching YouTube before this. Um, it's a rainy day here. It's been raining all day here in Ligonier. We've not had much sun or any sun at all today, but it's pretty pleasant. I mean, it's rainy. It's a little bit chilly, but it's not too bad. So we'll take it. Been trying to um get some things done. I got a haircut today. I did that. Um I I have been up here at the cottage working on things. But today's always a strange day. I did some errands, stopped at the post office, stopped to got some groceries, things like that. But it's a very strange day, Wednesdays, because they are very they're a little chaotic. They're a very hard day to feel like I can reel in. I don't know if you have days like that, but because like the live is during 3 o'clock instead of 7:30, so that throws off my normal daily schedule. Um, my allergies are kicking my butt right now, so I feel like I'm walking through a fog. Whether it's because of it's partially probably just because of the allergies themselves, but also because of all the allergy medications I'm taking. It's supposed to be non-drowsy, but um, when you're taking 3 or 4 different allergy medications, it's a little bit. I don't care what they say. I think it throws you for a little bit. So that's been my day. Not very exciting. Marianne's here. Hello, Marianne. We've been missing you. We haven't seen you in the lives for a little while. Even Andrew mentioned it the other day that we've not seen you in a little bit. So glad you can be here. Chris is here. Hello, Chris. Good to see you here again. Um, yeah, so sorry if I'm a little bit like nasally and um, like sneezy. Who knows what's gonna happen? Usually I start sneezing during the lives. Um, but it's definitely the allergies are kicking my butt at this point. Spring is here and it's a little bit wild. It's a little bit wild. So but thank you all for being here. I know the afternoons are always a little slower for us because I think, we're hitting like noon on the West Coast. Um, which is very very early in the day. People are definitely at work or getting their lunch, um, and yeah, it's an odd time, but we're thankful for everyone who can join us at this time. It's because I go to my pottery class in the evenings. We used to do our live. Andrew would start the live on Wednesday evenings, and he would do the talking part. And then when I got in from the pottery class, I would do the showing and selling part, but it made for a very very long night, I feel like, for some people and for us. So we've decided to move. A little bit ago we've moved the lives to the afternoon, and while it is nice when I get home, I kind of sometimes there's a little bit more time to relax after pottery class than I do most nights. um, but it throws off the whole day. It throws off the whole day. We are going to be meeting with a vendor tomorrow. Um, there is somebody who's coming to visit us, and we've not worked with them before, so it's going to be like kind of meeting and vibe checking each other and seeing how things go. Um, we do have, we've heard very positive things about this vendor, and we don't work with people who we don't trust. We don't work with people who we feel like they're exploitative, is that a word? um we just don't work with people who don't treat people right, and so we always try and with our vendors talk about these things and where things come from, and do the vibe check, and I'm sure they do the same with us, right? um We are a very small business. It's just Andrew and I, and you know, we have a lot of followers compared to other small bead stores. I will say that, especially on Facebook. People see our Facebook numbers and, you know, sometimes think we're bigger than we are. Um, but at the same time, we're still it's the two of us, and it's always been that way. I mean, we've had helpers in the past, but it's consistently been the two of us, and we do the best job we can. And sometimes people think we're bigger than we are. Um, Sometimes we're still small fish to people, depending on what their numbers are. But it's I guess it's all depends on how you look at that and who you're following and all that. But um, we do still, we have, whether you think we're larger or smaller, we do have these standards that we try to stick to, and we try to do right by people. And that's the most important thing to us, is doing right by, not only our community, all of you out there, but also the people that we work with. And so we try really hard to do that. So um, we've heard very good things about this vendor from other people. I believe Andrew said that somebody out there, or some buddies out there in the AG Bead fam, kind of put them in touch with us. So they think it's a good vibe. So we'll see how it goes tomorrow. There's also tomorrow a walk in our neighborhood in Johnstown. And we're going to see, depending on when we're up there, or what ends up going on, depending on what time and how timing works out, if we can take part in that walk or not. It's kind of a walk for unity in the neighborhood. Um, our neighborhood has been through many transitions. It used to be a very, very rich neighborhood. Um, then it went through a transition where it's been um, a not so rich neighborhood. There have been some troubles at times. We believe that it is an up and coming neighborhood again. We have a lot of crafty shops opening up there, restaurants. There's ceramics. There are hair places and salons, and so there are things happening in the neighborhood. But there is still this, these kind of feelings about things. Um, and, we are in a city now. And, cities have more crime generally, in general, than smaller towns. Um, and even though our small town is not perfect by any means, things are going to happen more in a city. And so what the walk is for is to try to unite the neighbors, trying to let them know that businesses are there, that businesses are, kind of safe places. We want to get to know each other. We want people to stand together. Um, and it's really, the mayor's coming. Some people from town council are going to be on the walk, and they want to do a walk through the neighborhood and get to know the people in the neighborhood and let the people get to know them. So if we are able to take part, I would like to do that. But we'll see how timing works out for all of that. So that's something I think it's a really positive thing, that people are caring enough and they believe in the neighborhood enough to want to do that. Um, I have to say, like, we've experienced nothing bad in our neighborhood, since we've been there, and we've been there for a few years now. But it's a city, and things happen in the city. So I'm really excited about it. I think it's a wonderful thing that people are coming together to want to show this unity and want to show that they want to get to know their neighbors, and that they believe in each other. And so we're hopeful that it will, be a positive thing, and maybe we can take part in it if things work out that way. I see other people are here. Let me see who's here with us. May's here. Hello, May. Marianne says, been tired and trying to avoid temptation. All right, I get it. I get it. Um, Chris says, I feel your pain, Marianne. Self torture. Don't torture yourself, but still hang out with us. We like to hang out with people. Um, May is just popping in before I have to run to errands. Well, thank you for hanging out with us for a little while, May. Kimberly is here. Hello, Kimberly. Um, Hopefully all went well with Dominique's broadcast yesterday, that you were you were helping to moderate. Um, let's see who else. Ba-ba-ba. All right, I think I caught up. Did I miss anybody? Um, sorry, like I said, my brain is a little foggy right now. I'm working through a a very intense um, allergic haze. So stick with me, y'all. I'm trying my best to to get through. Um, we'll get there together. Um, I just wanted to check on something here real quick too. Good. All right. Let me jump back here because I want to see um, if I'm missing anybody on Facebook because my things don't always pop up here. No. Okay. Good. Um, somebody's out there watching on Facebook. I don't know who you are, but thank you. Thank you for watching us. Feel free to say hi. Kimberly said, yes, all good. Our rude friend did not show up. Good. Good, good, good. Yeah, you never know. Sometimes these people jump from broadcast to broadcast. Um, and that's just the way it is. I feel very froggy today. I don't know if you can tell, probably. One, I've not talked much today. The most talking I've done is to my hairstylist. And one of our friends came in while I was getting my hair done did, and she was getting her hair done did. So um, it was good to see her again. She's sometimes in Florida, but she's up here right now, and it was really good to see her and hang out a little bit. Hey, Carly says it's me on Facebook. Ha ha hi. Hello. Thanks for joining us. Good to see you here. My hair is parted on the other side, so it's very strange to me because it got flipped. My hairstylist generally parts my hair this way. And normally when I do it, I part it the other way. But I always get it done so that I can do it either way. Um, but it feels very strange to me, and especially because it's backwards on the camera right now. I can't figure out which way my hair is going. Um, so that's fun, right? Um, yeah, so today has been a kind of easy day other than working through a fog. I did stop at our local coffee shop, one of our three or four local coffee shops um, in town, since I was at my hair appointment. They're right around the corner. And I saw a friend whose family used to own that coffee shop and recently had a little one, and got to talk to her a little bit. And their small business, they have a new small business, is going well. So that was good to hear. And I stopped and got some coffee. I don't drink caffeine, so my decaf mocha, and got Andrew a coffee. And yeah, so that was kind of my afternoon. I took a little bit of a rest in between because I'm like I said, I'm a little exhausted. I didn't sleep much last night. Um so some of my TV shows are kind of coming to an end. Um, and because we've been watching enameling stuff, Andrew was going to go to the cottage last night, and he may have gone after I went to bed. I don't know. But he was going to go to the cottage, so I decided I would watch some of my shows last night because I was very low on energy last night. So I was kind of watching my stuff, and he was hanging around doing some things, but also hanging out with the cats a little bit too, and me. But some of my shows are coming to an end, and I haven't watched them in a while, so I kind of binged them a little bit, and stayed up much later than I realized. um, it happens to the best of us, I think. I didn't mean to stay up as late as I did, but I also was not very tired um, until it hit me, and then I was tired. I took some um, I took some melatonin and some CBD, and then I also took I made myself some sleepy time tea, and by the time all of that hit, it was pretty late, but it hit hard, and I passed out really hard for a while. But then I was up early again, um, because every time I have an appointment that's semi early, I don't sleep well. I have a really hard time sleeping well, knowing that I don't want to sleep through my alarm. And so when I make an earlier appointment in the day, like I did for my haircut, I'm always like on edge through my sleep. Um, what is going on here? Something happened to my comments just went away. I don't know what happened. Let's see here. Susan's here. Hello, Susan. May says looks great, William. Thank you. We were trying to do something a little different with my hair, but it what didn't actually come out too different. We were gonna kind of do something like I can't go backwards. It was gonna be kind of like like a faux hawk kind of thing, but then I was like, I didn't know if I wanted it actually that short. Um, and so we kind of did this, and she had it pulled down like this, but it was getting in my face. So I kind of just, it ends up looking similar to everything I do, but I can style this different ways. So that's a good thing. Um, Harry's here. Hello, Harry. Thanks for joining us. As soon as Harry's message popped up, my for some reason, my comments on here just totally blanked out. So thank goodness I have my computer here. Um, let's see here. Marianne says, me too, William. I don't know what that's about, but I'm glad you agree. Or maybe it's not good you agree. I don't know. Um, Susan said, just got back from the post office for mailing a package. Hair looks great. Oh, thanks. Yeah, I did the post office earlier today, dropped off a bunch of packages that I packed up yesterday. Um, everybody's saying hi to each other. Good, good, good. Okay. Let me check Facebook here since now my comments are really not showing up. Just Carly out there still. Okay. So, yeah, life is good. I hope you are all doing well. It's a little like I said, it's a little rainy today. But what I did do is something I don't do very often, but should do more often is I uploaded some of not sleeping when there is a morning appointment. Oh yes. It's so hard. Because my brain is just like, don't oversleep, don't oversleep, don't oversleep, don't oversleep. Because I sleep in, because I go to bed late. Um, and I don't really sleep in. I sleep in according to most other people. People who are morning people or semi-morning people consider me sleeping in. I'm not really sleeping in, right? I'm just sleeping 8 hours. I kind of am trying to change my self-talk about that, because when I say sleeping in, I make myself feel guilty that I'm sleeping more than I should, or I'm oversleeping. But really, I'm just sleeping like a normal person, 7 to 8 hours, 7 to 9 hours, depending on the day. But so it's not really sleeping in, it's just sleeping later than what most people do. But also, most people do not stay up as late as I stay up. So, um, yeah, you know. Um, and nobody tries to make anybody feel bad for not staying up late. I mean, I guess some people do. They're like, let's go party. And they're like, I'm going to bed at 9 or I'm going to bed at 8. Maybe some people try to make you feel bad about that. But most of the time, people don't try and make you feel bad for not staying up. But sleeping in has this connotation that there's something wrong with it, right? But it's just, that's my circadian rhythm. Um, and I find that I sleep best if I don't fall asleep before 2. So I go to bed between 2 and 3, usually most mornings, sometimes 2 to 4. Last night it was closer to 4. Um, and I sleep anywhere up till about noon. Um, so I really don't have mornings. I have afternoons and late nights. Um, or afternoons, evenings, and late nights, whereas most people have a morning, an afternoon, and an evening. Um, let's see here. Harry says, I hardly get to sleep more than 4 hours. Go to bed at 11:30, up by 3 or 4. Um, yeah, if I went to bed at 11:30, I would definitely be up by 3 or 4. If I go to bed before about 2 a.m., I have a very hard time sleeping more than about 4 hours. and that's why I don't do it. Now, if I had a life where I could do the 2 sleeps, that would be wonderful, because I would go to bed earlier. Because I usually do hit a down point around 10:30 to midnight, and I could fall asleep anywhere in between there, but I would be up in 4 hours, almost exactly to the mark, 4 hours. And then if I could get up and do stuff and then go back to sleep at some point in the afternoon, I would sleep another 4 hours, and that would work for me, but it doesn't work for my schedule. I'm lucky that I can make my late night work for my schedule. So I try to stay up until about 2, and then I can at least generally get at least a good 6 or 7 hours before I start waking up, and then usually forcing myself back to sleep for another few hours. But I do flutter awake for those last usually 2 to 3 hours, most nights or most mornings, most whatever you want to call them. Um, but I try to get 8 hours of like in bed time. Um, Harry says I nap with the cat 7 to 9. See, that's nice. If you can do that, that's really good. Um, and I kind of wish I could do that. And maybe I could, um, because I don't really get up until noon some days, so it may not change much, but it would cut my time at night a little bit shorter. Um, but I would also have the time in the middle of the night. So I don't know, but it would also distract Andrew. Um, Andrew works better when I am not around. He works better when he's by himself for the most part. So I try to give him his time at night while I am in bed. So if we're both up, sometimes it works out, we can do things, but a lot of times I am more of a distraction around. So um, it's one of those odd things. I feel better generally working when there's other people working around me, but he's one of those that he kind of likes to work in a little bit in solitude in a lot of ways. Um, so I do try to we try to accommodate one another that way. Um, Marion says it's not sleeping in, LOL, just out of sync with the majority. Yeah, I need to think about it that way because I make myself guilty saying I'm sleeping in. Because I was always told that growing up, like, stop sleeping in so much. You sleep in so much, like, but like, even, I mean, my family knew that I didn't go to bed until late. Um, but it was still called sleeping in, and it makes you feel like you're lazy. You're not lazy, right? You're just, as Marianne said, you're out of sync. I'm out of sync with the majority of people who sleep, right? Um, but I'm getting better at not being so self-critical about it because I still try to get as much done as I can. I may be out of sync with a lot of the world, but I'm trying to do my best to make adjustments that also still work and being kinder to myself about it. Um, so that's what I suggest for all of you, right? We all have things I think in our lives that we feel out of sync with the majority of people, and it's not that we're wrong. Um, we're all made different, and um, we have to be easier on ourselves for a lot of things, right? Just because you're out of sync with the majority does not mean there's something wrong, or that you're lazy, or that you're, whatever. Um, and we have to stop, trying to force ourselves all to be the same. It doesn't work. Um, Harry says, don't compare with others, sleep on your schedule. Exactly. I think that's exactly what it is, right? And I'm trying to do that because I do feel best when I do. As I'm getting older, I am feeling a tendency like it used to be like 4 o'clock was my bedtime. That was it. And I'd get up at noon or 1. Um, as I'm getting older, it is backing up a little bit. I'm feeling myself going to bed more around 3 or 2, for the most part, even 1:30, 2. Um, but that could also be me settling into kind of my real rhythm, um, and not fighting, the sleep time as much. I used to fight it when I was younger, because I wasn't really ready to sleep yet. Of course, I work from about the moment I wake up until the moment we go to bed, with a little bit of relaxation, usually toward the end of the day. But we definitely don't follow the 8 hours of work, 8 hour play, 8 hours of sleep. They kind of say to separate your day that way. 8 hours of work, 8 hours of play, 8 hours of sleep. Um, we're more like, I'm more like, I shouldn't talk for anybody else, but I am more like 14, 15 hours of work, maybe, maybe a little bit more than that, a few hours of relaxation slash play, and then try and get my 8 hours of sleep. But it's usually more like 6 or 7. Anyway, May says, when I worked for a corporate company, I was forced to have a traditional schedule. Yeah, that's the thing, right? Um, most businesses that I've worked for had a very traditional schedule. And it was very hard for me to work that way. Um, uh, I worked for Apple for a while, and um, they were a 24-hour store. You really couldn't pick your schedule so much, but you could, like, here's what I would like, if possible, kind of requesting. And every once in a while, I got thrown on an overnight shift, and it was kind of really nice. Um, you didn't make as many sales or see as many people, which, they didn't at that time. I don't know what they do now, but at that time, they did not force you to have a certain number of sales or a certain like commission or anything like that. Um, but it was kind of nice because it more aligned with my schedule. So I did kind of enjoy that, but then I got moved into the offices, and it was a definite kind of 9 to 5 or 8 to 4, I can't remember, which was harder for me. But I guess you can get used to anything for a while, but and especially since I was younger, it was easier. But nowadays, I'm finding that as I get older, it's nicer just to try to, be kinder to myself and do the schedule I can do. And we're very lucky with owning our own business. It's hard in a lot of ways. Um, and it's still a little bit difficult because I still have to do some kind of errands and things like that. So I have to be awake when some of the world is functioning that way, and ready to do things. Because if I could, my mornings would probably be like noon to 3 or noon to 4. Um, but I can't really do that because of, I got to go out and do some errands before the post office closes, the bank closes, all that stuff. And so, but I'm closer to that. And we're lucky that we're able to do that because I know some people cannot. And I don't know. I think corporate culture needs to catch up on that a little bit. Um, but you know, you got to do what you got to do, I guess. May says, in college too, some classes didn't have an afternoon option. That's true. Um, but the majority of all my college classes, um, the majority of all my college classes were generally didn't start before 11. Excuse me. Um, I was lucky. I was able to schedule most of my classes as afternoon, evening classes. I'll still like, one of them was psychology. That was, I think, an 8 a.m. class. I can't remember the other one. I had like 2 or 3 throughout my college career. I do remember psychology though, because that was the earliest, I think. It was very hard to get up for, and I enjoyed the class, but that was a rough one. That was a rough one. Um, but but also, I had some very kind of late classes. I had a public speaking class that started at like 7 or 8 in the evening. It was pretty late. And that also threw me off a little bit because by that time, most of my classes were all done for hours. And so I'd go back home, and then on that day I had to wait and kind of then go to that class. And you would think that'd be great for me, but it also kind of really threw off my schedule a little bit. So, um, but those kind of two extremes were hard, but I was very lucky. Most of my classes I could fit in the afternoon, but I was also, our campus wasn't huge, but like, you look at cities like, Andrew went to school in New York City. Some of the classes, like the classrooms, were very far away. You took trains, or you took, taxis to get there. Our campus was not that big, but it was sometimes very spread out from one class to another. And because I packed my schedule in college, Like I was taking at least 16 credits every, what, 16 every semester? I think something like 16 to 18 um, every semester, which was a full load, usually plus. Um, and because I wanted to fit in as much as I could, I wanted to do as much as I could while I was there. And some of my classes were like very back to back. I had like 5 minutes in between, and I'd be running across campus. And I took pretty much all of my books for the entire day. Like I couldn't go home and drop off books and get new books. I pretty much carried everything all day, which was difficult, but I was lucky, and I feel very fortunate that I was able to do what I did. Um, let's see. Harry says, when I was working in the photo lab, I worked 6 to 3 most days to develop the film. Came home to take care of the kids as my wife was teaching 3 to 11. That's a rough one. I guess maybe not for you. You like the mornings. You seem to like the mornings anyway. Um, but it is, that kind of schedule, if you can get used to it. I know you were taking care of kids though, and doing things, but being off by 3, I think is a really nice thing, right? Um, you're off by that point, and you've got the whole rest of your day to kind of do what you need to do personally, and so that can be nice. So yeah. Nancy says, are you finding you need less sleep as you age? Not particularly. I know they say that happens. I still don't do well with less than, 8 hours. I can work with it for a while, but my body will start to feel it after that. So, um, do I wake up more often than I used to? Yes. Does my body feel like it wants to sometimes get up earlier than it ever used to? Yes. Can I continually do that and feel like I'm rested? No. So I have to fight that. And that's why I do force myself to go back to sleep. Guaranteed I will wake up no matter what time I go to sleep, generally around 5:30 to 6:30. And then again, around 8 or 9. And like I said, some days I sleep in till noon, sleep in. Sometimes I sleep till noon because I go to bed at 4. Um, but I do try to max out at 8 hours. And that if that's me putting myself back to sleep, or, at least doing my best to go back to sleep, I usually can fall back asleep. But it's been that way a lot for me. But, they say you need less sleep as you get older. And I am finding my body is waking up earlier, but in the long run, I do not function well on less sleep. And I know most people, as they get older, I guess they do sleep less and they do need less sleep. They don't feel unrested. But if I have 2 or 3 days where I don't get at least 7 hours, 8 hours of sleep in a row, I will feel it. I will feel it. So yeah, that's me. um, but again, I do try to definitely force myself to go back to sleep when I don't get enough. Marianne says 15 credits at UBC was a full load. I needed special permission to take more. Yeah, we didn't need special permission, but um, yeah, usually 15, 16, something like that. I think it was considered a full load. I always took at least 16 generally a semester, sometimes 18, depending on how the credits worked out. Some had more than others. I think sometimes I went up to 20. We didn't need any special permission to really do that. Or if we did, maybe people just signed off on it for me and I didn't even know. But I always packed it as full as possible. And thankfully I did well. I didn't have many issues. My GPA was really good. Would have been better without my one history class. You wonder why I don't like history. Um, Marianne says, I need more sleep than I used to. See, there you go. Yeah, I think everyone's different, and I don't think we should try to hold ourselves to what is normal. I mean, it is, for some things, I guess, some things work the same because we are the same organisms, right? We are humans. Um, and you want certain things to be in a normal range, but there are also things that if it works for you, I think that's good, right? Not a This is not a doctor channel, right? We're not doctors here, but um yeah. um Harry says, I wake up and watch Time Team or pottery videos till 6. Yeah, I think we all need a decompression moment, right? Whether that's when you wake up. Like I know some people, they wake up and that's their kind of decompression moment throughout the day, right? You kind of mosey through your morning or, watch things that you enjoy and kind of get ready for your day. Whereas some people, on the other hand, decompress in the evenings and they have a relaxing evening and do that. I am definitely one of the people that prefers to do that in the evening. In the morning, I've talked a little bit about this. No matter when I wake up, my morning pretty much is the same. So whether I have to get up early for something or whether I sleep later because I was up later, it doesn't matter. I get up at that moment. If I haven't, sometimes if I know I'm going to be sleeping later, I get up earlier and feed the cats because I like to keep them on a fairly consistent schedule, so their schedule's not too wonky. But um, I get up, I feed the cats, I start getting myself ready. I take my pills, I take my vitamins, I brush my teeth, kind of go through that process, and I like kind of start getting ready for work. Like it's immediate. Um, I don't usually eat breakfast. I can't eat for a while after I take some of my medications, and I don't feel. My dad was also like this. I don't know if he still is, but um, it runs in that side of the family. We don't eat well in the morning. We don't feel good eating early, and so I have to be up for a while. If I'm going to have lunch, I'll have lunch later, but I generally eat once a day. Um, and so I get up and I start my morning like productively as much as possible. Um, and I've been trying to add exercise to my mornings so that I can get that in that loop that I do. But in the evenings is when I like to kind of relax. After I'm done with the invoicing from the lives in the evening, usually, and sorting stuff, that's kind of like that's usually about 10:30, 11 o'clock at night. Um, and so usually I'm like leaving the cottage here by 10:30 or 11. And at that point, I kind of am kind of done-ish. We'll go home, we'll make dinner. Um, Sometimes I'll still do some work. I'll do some email scheduling or answering of emails after that, but I try to make that my downtime until I go to sleep. Excuse me. I told you these allergies are bad. It's making me cough, it's making me sneeze. Thankfully, I'm not having a sneezing fit. So we'll say coughing is better than a sneezing fit right now. Marion says, I could have done without a math class on vectors and matrices. Yeah. My math class, I took calculus for college credit in high school. And it had I could have transferred the credit because it was for a different college. And I could have transferred that credit to my college, and I was supposed to do that. But when time came to actually graduate, I hadn't done that yet. And so my advisor was a French professor and knew that I had the college credit, but knew I hadn't done that yet. And so she just substituted my math for a French class. I don't know how that worked out, but um, I never had to take that math. I did take a statistics class in college. I don't know why. I think I had to take something like that. Um, I never took the basic math. I was supposed to take a basic math, and calculus would have covered that. Um, so I don't know why I had to take a statistics, or maybe I just wanted to try it out. But I did okay. I did well in it, but I it was not, you know, one of those things. Um, I really loved math in high school. I was good at it and I liked it, but then I got out of it and went to languages and never kind of looked back. Except I did kind of look back because I didn't remember much of calculus. It was one of those classes I have no idea how I passed. Like, kind of when looking back at things, um, I was thinking about this the other day. There are things that I look back on that I'm like, I remember how they started, but I don't remember how they ended. Um, and it's kind of like it's just like people I knew, like I remember meeting them, but I don't remember why we don't talk anymore. I don't remember what happened. Things I've started, I remember starting them, but don't remember why I stopped. Um, Calculus is one of those things. I remember starting the class and being in the class. I do not know how I did well in that at all or how it ended. I know my grade that I got, I because it was pass fail because it was a college credit, but um I don't know. In the past I have bought calculus books thinking that I'd go back and try to, look over it. I haven't cracked those books open. Um, Harry says, after my first 2 years in college, all my classes were art studio classes or education classes, no wild math, LOL. Yeah. I gave up on the math and I took classes in spirituality. I took classes in like Taoism and Buddhism and of course I had to take history classes because most, foreign language majors, you have to know a little bit about the history. So I took those and um I took classes in medieval literature and all that fun stuff, French medieval and Spanish medieval literature and literature of all kinds and poetry classes and um, I took classes on things I liked. I should have probably continued college and I really did want to continue and become a professor. Uh, for a while, but then after because I did 2 degrees and I spent 5 years doing those 2 degrees, I was a little worn out. So I took a break and that was the end of it. So, you know, life worked out though. Life worked out. Um, Marion says, other than statistics, I didn't have math classes after the first 2 years. Nice. Marion says, I have never used calculus in my real life. Yeah. Like sometimes I wonder, I'm like, if I really understood calculus and really, grasped it, because I feel like I didn't get it. I feel like I kind of zoned out, and I think that's why I don't remember the last half of it, because I kind of zoned out on it. Um, because I got interested in languages and English and writing, and I was, we did a school, it wasn't quite a magazine, it was a school, I don't know what you call it. I guess they called it a magazine. It was bound differently, but it was like the school magazine. And I was the editor of that. And I got into all that kind of stuff more than math. Because for a long time I took drafting classes, I was into maths, um, and really kind of didn't give English and languages. I was always in Spanish, because we had to take a language in school. But then something just flipped and I kind of got out of math. And sometimes I wonder if I really truly understood calculus, maybe I could use it for things in real life. Maybe, I don't know, but I have never either because I didn't grasp it. So I don't know how I could apply it. But there's a possibility maybe I could have applied it in my life if I had actually understood it better. Maybe, I don't know. Um, and that's one of the reasons I kind of bought a book on it and wanted to try to understand it. Um, but I never have. And that's okay. That's all right. Maybe someday. Maybe someday if I win the lottery, I'll hire a tutor and they'll teach me calculus the way that I'll understand it and we'll figure out how I can use it in real life. So I'm drinking this again today, these body armors. I had no idea they came in this size. Um, Usually I get the smaller ones and I found these today in the refrigerated section. I didn't know they had them, and this is a big one. Um, anyway, Marion says I grasped it, but still haven't had a reason to use it. Yeah, I grasped it until about halfway through when I kind of checked out mentally on it, and like I said, I do not have any clue how I passed the final exam. in calculus. I don't have a clue. I must have understood more than I remember understanding because I did pass. Um, but some things I just have no idea how I did that. Um, and that's happened to a few different things. I was thinking about some other things the other day, and I was like, how did that like? I'll think about situations and like hanging out with friends at a restaurant or something, and I'll remember like part of it, but I don't remember like how did the night end or how did the like it's so weird, right? How memory works sometimes. Um, but anyway, that's life. That's life here. Hope you're doing well. Um, what I wanted to do today a little bit, I do this every once in a while. Um, I wanted to talk about some things that people are making. Um, and show them off a little bit. So I figured this would be a good time to do that. And I'm going to start. Um, let's see. This is our friend Susan. Um, so these are pieces that people have put in the design challenges group, and every once in a while we go through them and talk about things people have made. And this is by no means a comprehensive, um, showing of what has been uh, displayed or posted in the group. But I do love to show the things that people are making in some of these and hopefully encourage others to show things in the group because I think it's really nice. And this is Kimberly said that's very pretty. It is very pretty. And most of you are in the design challenges group, but if you're not, we hope you'll join. Just look up Allegory Gallery Design Challenges on Facebook. Um, and not everybody sees everything. Even we don't see everything. So it's nice once in a while to take kind of a look through and see what people are doing. This was for a blessing way that Susan did, and the woman she made this for, she talked a lot about it in the comments or the caption, I guess it's called caption of this photo. um, the woman saved turtles. There was a turtle that she had saved, and Susan helped her care for it for a little while before she was able to take it to a place that would um, do more for it. And so she used one of our Allegory Gallery turtle pendants. We used to sell these. I don't think they're still in the online store, um, but we used to sell these wooden pendants. And then also there's the snake toggle, the Ouroboros snake toggle. And that woman also helped save snakes because they have a lot of copperheads in their area. So um, that was one of the things that's been recently posted in the design challenges group. And then our friend Diane, who is my friend at the shop, she is a local maker, and she is the person who I talk about her every once in a while, who came in saying that she was not going to make anything. She was just going to buy something. And then she sat down and we kind of convinced her to make something. And she has been addicted to making ever since. And she dreams of beading, and she has tons of supplies, and she's been getting supplies from all over. She goes vintage shopping to find old jewelry now. Excuse me. And she thoroughly enjoys it. She's now making things for other people. She's thinking And I think we're back. I hope we're back. Um, so that was a long one, and I had to re-sign in to get back. But so I don't know how much you heard. This is from our friend Diane. I think it got to the point where I was saying that she now makes things. She's thinking about selling things. This is one of the pieces that she made that has a lot of things from us at Allegory Gallery in it. And I believe on this, let me see here. If I'm not mistaken, she has used some of our spacers in this. She has used, I think, some jade from us and some, I believe these are sunstone, the kind of the rondelles that are in between. And then the focal there is one of our vintage ocean jasper pieces. Um, let's see here. Harry also said earlier, higher math seemed to me more to teach how to think through things, not for practical use, especially after computers came along. I agree with that. I think math does, higher math does help you kind of figure things out and find your way through things. I agree 100% with that. May says, love the design and the shine on the beads, right? Isn't it great? Um, yeah, unfortunately, it does happen regularly that we get knocked out of the stream between 46 and generally 58-minute mark. The 46 and 58-minute mark, somewhere along the line, almost every day, it's going to knock us out. And I really need to contact them and ask, why is this happening? It is regular enough that it is something, it has to be something in their system that is doing that. So I need to check on that. Marianne says Diane did a great job, as did Susan. I think so too, right? All right, next one up is Elaine. Our friend Elaine made this one. And I'm blanking on the name of it. I should have written down the name. She titled her pieces. But this was done with one of Andrew's enameled pendants. And so she grabbed one of Andrew's enameled pendants from us and created this beautiful necklace using those pendants. That rabbit pendant, and I think it came out so lovely. I really think it's a beautiful piece, and it's very eclectic. I love how eclectic it is with all the different beads, and how she used all different shapes to bring this together. There's kind of like pinch beads in there. There are drops. A lot of people always ask us how to use drops, and I think she used drops in a very interesting way. And I think this is a very good example of how you can use drops in your design without making it all drops, right? Some people think they have to use all of them, or they're not sure how to put them together. But doing them in these kind of groups that she did, I think really gives people an idea of how they can use them without it being just all about that. Because we don't sell a lot of as many drops, um, because I think people have a harder time figuring out how to use them. And this, I think, shows a very nice way. She used multi-sized drops throughout this, multi-material drops, and they all came out, I think, so well together and coordinated so well together. So I wanted to kind of show that one off. And then this is Kim. Kim has been doing these bracelets, these bead weaving, bead stitched bracelets. I am this amazes me, this kind of work, because I do not have the patience for this, and I admire people who do. And Kim whips these. I feel like she just whips these out. Like I know it. I don't know if you're watching, Kim. Um, I know it takes a long time to do these, I am sure, but I feel like you're just producing these so quickly, and it amazes me. And I love that button closure on there. So that's a great way. We always talk about like the check glass buttons, and I'm gonna have some of those today to show you, as well as I'm gonna have some drops today to show you. I didn't plan that, but it happened that way, maybe subconsciously. But um, love these kind of button closures that you can do, and great way to use seed beads in there too. And this is our friend Susan Gannon. She made this piece using some of our fire polish beads that are available in our online store. Um, I think these are 5 millimeter fire polished, which are kind of, I guess, a more unusual size, because she wrote about how one of the only places she can find that size is with us, and we have a kind of a cache of them. So um, she's grabbed a few from us and used them in this design, and I love this. It's kind of this beachy, boaty kind of theme, but um, I mean, also you have here talking about mixing materials. She uses some chain, she uses beads, she uses some, looks like maybe wax linen in there, some leather. Like there's just such a wonderful mix of materials and very eclectic, but yet all comes together very well in one piece. And I think that's lovely. I love when people play around with that. Um, Kimberly says, "This is all fabulous." Marion says, "All lovely work." And Harry says, "Wonderful pieces." I think they are. I think people have done a really good job on these. Um, this is our friend Anne. Anne made these charoite, um, charoite earrings. And just showing you kind of like you don't need to do a lot to make a really pretty thing. Um, these are really letting the gemstones kind of shine and adding a few little crystals. I think those are some of the S word crystal spacers in there, possibly, um, along with some other crystal on top. And so simple, right? In design kind of style, but also using different things to come together to make something really pretty. And I love those stones. She did a really good job just kind of highlighting the stones on that. I wanted to show this too. This is the second piece by Elaine. I usually try not to do more than one of somebody's, but I wanted to show this because this is a pin or a brooch. And a lot of people focus on making earrings, necklaces, and bracelets, right? And we focus on that too, mostly in the store when we teach classes. But this is another kind of thing that you can make, right? These kind of pins and brooches. Um, we sell these very large pins in the physical shop. I don't think we have them in our online store right now, but we sell these in the physical shop, and they are really cool to work with. And Andrew has shown a few videos where he's worked with these as well. But you can add charms and you can add all different things to these and kind of make it something different. Um, if you're looking to do something other than, some people are like, oh, I do so many necklaces, or I want to try something else. This is a good kind of experiment to try other things, right? And you can play around with that. And I believe Elaine mentioned that this was a gift for a friend. Um, Marion says, "Egad's emergency alert startled me. Oh no, what do you got emergency alert going on?" Hopefully all is okay. And this is our friend Suzanne, who made this lovely piece using all beads from us. And she's very eclectic, and I really like the designs that she makes. And I like how she puts things together. Um, in it's just sometimes she uses chain in part of it. Sometimes this is one she I don't think, I'm trying to zoom in here, there's no chain particularly in this one, but she often does an asymmetrical style, and I am about that. I love the asymmetrical look, but this one has a number of lampwork glass beads in it that don't necessarily, they weren't paired, but they coordinate with each other really well. And I really love how that all came together. She also appears to have used some drops or flat drops along with the rounds, the faceted rounds in that. And I just like how she combined different styles of beads, different sizes of beads, and also used multiple lamp work. A lot of people think of using, like, if you use one piece of lamp work in your design, that's um, kind of the focal or the thing that you use, but she went ahead and did more than one in there, and I really like how that came out. Marion says, "I think it's just a test of the system." Okay, good, 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 good. And the last one I wanted to show today is our friend Jen. Um, So this stuff is not really from us, but I still wanted to show this because we love Jen. And Jen has been really working hard on building her business. You know, she drives bus right now as her main job, but she is still a lover of craft and a maker at heart. And she's taught classes with us. She's done, you know, she did all of our pretty much all of our Saturday morning tutorials that we used to do. And she's a good friend of ours. And she does these beautiful wire work trees. She started doing this kind of pine tree with the red on the right. I think it's on the right. I don't know if it's on the right on your screen. It's on my screen on the right. Um, and it's a new kind of tree for her, and I love them. Um, but she's been doing a lot of different kinds of wire wrapping, and she's really progressed in her wire wrapping skills. And she's really taken off, I think, on, you know, kind of doing more maximalist kind of wire wrapping, which I can't even fathom trying to do. But she's been really working hard at it. Her business is the Giggly Gypsy. If you're interested in that, you can check her out, Jen Tucson. And like I said, she's a local to us. She used to be the egg lady, Andrew said. She used to come in, and that's where we would get fresh eggs. And we met her, Andrew met her that way, and she's been a friend ever since. So we're very proud of her and how well she's doing. She will be starting her YouTube channel. She has started a YouTube channel. Um, she's not really talking about it too much, but she's kind of prepping content on it right now and uploading content. But you can find her in most places at the Giggly Gypsy. Kimberly says, "Oh wow, those are fantastic, aren't they? They're really awesome." So if you don't follow Jen, hopefully you will. And that's what I've got to show you. Every once in a while, we like to go through things and pick out some things that y'all have made and show them off. Um, if we didn't show your things, sorry. Maybe we'll get to it next time. Um, uh, you know, we we can't show everyone, but we do try to mix and match. And whenever I do these, I do try to show other people. So some of y'all have probably been shown before, whether you caught the live or not that we did it on. But I wanted to kind of make it more of a regular thing, and maybe we'll make it more of a Wednesday thing, where we'll show more things like that. So if you aren't part of the Allegory Gallery Design Challenges group, I hope you'll join that group on Facebook and um, show your stuff. Show, especially when you make stuff using our stuff. We love to see that. So please feel free to join and show what you're making, and then maybe we'll show it on a live too. All right. It's getting late because I'm talking a lot and it's my early day, so I have to get going. So let's take a look. We're going to flip the camera around. And oops, as I hit the light with the camera, that's no good. We're going to flip the camera around here, and we're going to get started with showing you some products we have for y'all today. All right. If you don't know how this works, we go ahead and we're going to show you something. I feel like I've used this before, but we're going to do TRE lots. It doesn't show that I've used this before. It's not coming up in my search. So if it's not coming up in my search, it means I must not have used it recently. So that's good enough for me. TRE lots, and we are going to, you know what, I want to check that because that seems so, let me just make sure, because sometimes my search is not great, but I don't see them here in the last few things. So we're going to go ahead with TRE lots. Kimberly says, "Love when you spotlight our works on your live." We try, you know, we want to share the love out there. Y'all do such great work, and we want to make sure it gets seen. It's important to us. All right, let me take a drink. And this stuff is really random today. I just pulled some random stuff. I tried to find some stuff that we haven't shown in a while, or possibly not at all. This first one is vintage Czech glass. And this is a strand of vintage Czech glass, and it's these drops with the white and green and clear glass. Vintage Czech glass drops. And there's only one strand of this available. It is approximately a 7.5-inch strand. And these drops are about 8 millimeters by 12. 8 by 12 millimeters. One strand available. And if you're not used to watching on Wednesdays, welcome. Also, I do go a little faster on Wednesdays. Like, my camera's all off right now. I don't know what's, there we go. Because I have to get to my pottery class. So I do kind of, especially when I talk for as long as I did today, I don't usually try to do that on Wednesdays, but we'll get into the conversation. So I do go a little faster. And so we're gonna kind of work through these quickly today. So if I forget, that also means if I forget to tell you a size, or you want to know something that I haven't shown you, please feel free to ask in the comments. But you can only claim in the email. All right, we show you, I think I started talking, we show you a lot number, send us an email, info@allegorygallery.com to claim that lot number. It is first come, first serve. This, we had a pair of kind of similar. They were white beads yesterday that we had for $6 for the pair. So I found these, and we're going to do these for $6 for the pair as well. And these are approximately, let me go bump to bump here, about 22 millimeters. 22 millimeters, TRE2 lampwork glass. And you get the pair of them for $6. Kimberly says, oh my goodness, I just noticed I have not posted anything yet this year. Yeah, I was looking, I look sometimes for certain people to, because if I thought, I'm like, oh, I showed something from it, let me find somebody new. I noticed that I didn't go back that far, but I hadn't seen anything from you recently. I didn't realize you had not posted anything this entire year. I can't believe that. I can't believe that. We have sold TRE2, has been sold. Thank you so much. This is TRE3. These are these little kind of flame fire beads. They are 2-hole vintage Czech glass. If you got our fire horse kit, these would go great with it. I don't think these were in it. I'm trying to think if these were in it. I don't think they were. These are 6 millimeters. There's only one strand left. And they've got that kind of yellow, orange, red look. TRE3. I'm going to go ahead and put away TRE2 since it has sold. Thank you, thank you. Kimberly, have you really not posted anything this whole year? I can't believe that. In the group? What? I don't believe it. You're usually very good about posting stuff. Okay. Not since January 5, based on searching my name and filtering. Last thing I posted was Andrew's magazine. Oh my goodness. That feels like just like yesterday. Like, I don't know. My brain, I swear, does not do time right. Let me put this in. I'm going to put these in a different bag because this bag is terrible. And these need to be in a bag, but maybe a bag that's not so old. Because this bag is very fade. Well, it's gone from clear to not so clear. I'm gonna put them in this bag. And let me take a few of these out. We had this at 12. I will bring it down to 10. TRE4. We have these vintage check was these. These are little rondelles, vintage check glass, and you get all of these for $10. There's a lot of them in there. I don't know how many. I'm not counting them. Sorry. But you get all of them for $10. And they are about 5 to 6 millimeters. I'm going to say 5. Closer to 5 than 6. 5 millimeters in this beautiful purple. I'm going to have to set this back on the desk because it's going to be hard to see. You can't see them like that. I don't know. How can I do this? I'm going to kind of set them like that so they don't fall off, but hopefully you can see them. TRE4. Well, they just sold, so I can take them away. Thank you so much to the person who bought them because that was a challenge. I appreciate that. I can move them aside. TRE5. Okay, if you like a little funky and a little weird, these remind me of like pierogi or ravioli. These are lamp work. I say these. I have another one after this one. Let's see. Kimberly says the magazine was in April. The January 5th was the beat in the new year. Oh boy. Maybe Facebook search sucks because I had to have posted something else like the button leather bracelets. I would think so. Right? Didn't you? I don't know. Hold on. I want to make sure I'm not missing any comments because my comment thing isn't working very well over here. Make sure nobody on Facebook. Oh, there's Andrew on Facebook. Okay. See, Andrew's post, they weren't coming through. He was talking about you could use it for glaze science. I don't know what that's about. Our vendor's van broke down, so no appointment tomorrow. Oh, no. Okay. Well, that's good to know at least. Andrew said, I made a bunch of test pieces with various stitches and hung them off oversized pins. Good way to practice. See, I've been refreshing this and it didn't come through. Sorry, Andrew. Andrew's hanging out with us now. So that was talking about the pins, the oversized pins, and he did make them. So it's a good way to practice making stuff. So there you go. Anyway, sorry. I don't know why that wasn't coming up. Nothing was coming up. I kept refreshing. My Facebook has not been working great lately. I will say that. I'm gonna have to keep refreshing here because my comments on the screen are also not working. It's a rough day here. So they remind me of like a pierogi or a ravioli. These are lampwork glass though. They're pretty cool. The hole goes this way. And I think they would be fun to play around with. These are about 35 by 35 millimeters, $12. And like I said, I keep saying they because I do have another one, TRE6, also $12. And it is this one in this color. This one I feel like is a little bigger. This is about 40 by 35. Lampwork glass. Hole goes this way. Okay. Now I'm really gonna have to keep refreshing because, well, maybe Andrew's not there anymore because I haven't been reading his comments. He's probably like, why aren't you reading my stuff? Who knows if he's still watching or not? You still out there, Andrew? Sorry, I missed all your comments. They finally popped up though. I kept saying I'm refreshing. It wasn't happening. These are super cool. We used to sell these individually. I'm just going to sell them for $5 for the pair. We've got one pair available. And these are really nice big beads. I think these are vintage Czech. And they've kind of got almost a pearlescence to them. They're a little bit, they're wild shape, kind of dimply. And the holes go top to bottom this way. And $5 for the pair, these nice big beads. These are about 28 by about 34 millimeters. And they're in the nice kind of white color. So Cloud Dancer, y'all, or just a nice neutral. Nice big, I think they're vintage Czech. One pair available, $5 for the pair. TRE7. Ooh, they look good on screen now that I'm looking at them. Oh, I made my salad last night. What did y'all have for dinner last night? Or what are y'all having today? I made my salad last night. It was pretty good. Andrew had already made himself kind of a bean burrito. Um, and but I wanted to have my salad. So I made myself a big salad. There's still salad left over. I had 2 bowls of it and I still have some left. So I'm planning on having that tonight again. It was really good. And it kind of, my stomach was a little upset yesterday, so it really helped. It wasn't too much of anything. I forgot to put beans in it though. I realized that I was going to put beans, kidney beans and chickpeas, garbanzo beans in it, and I didn't do that. So I'll probably be adding those tonight. These are large Czech glass, $6 for the 6 beads. Nice big clear vintage Czech glass beads. These are approximately, say 17 to 18 millimeters. And you get all 6 of them, faceted rounds for $6. TRE8. Marion says, yesterday I had bacon cheddar smokies. Ooh, nice. Let's see here. What's going on over here? Yeah, so far nobody. Trying to make sure nobody's over on Facebook. And again, I'm going quickly because this is my shorter day. So if you do have any questions that I don't address, please feel free to ask. TRE9 was 36, bringing it down to 32. I told you I have some drops today. These are some of those drops. These are beautiful high-end peach moonstone drops. Look at those gorgeous faceted drops in peach moonstone. This is a nice higher end strand, very pretty stones, very similar to one another in color and in opacity and also in flash, right? And you get, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 stones. So 6 pairs, which is really nice for doing earrings. And these are about 11 millimeters by about 11 millimeters, 10, 11 millimeters. And if you look at, kind of how it was Elaine that did the that necklace we talked about earlier and how she used the drops. These would be really pretty to kind of use in that way with some other colors, maybe a darker brown or some carnelians. Mix them with some other, like some grays, some gray moonstone in with that. It could be really pretty. All right, let me start putting some of these away. I'm going to put TRE1 away. I'm surprised nobody grabbed this. This is such a pretty color green. Really pretty, different color green, right? You don't see that color very often. It's TRE1. Two has sold. 3 is still available. It's those. Goes with that Year of the Fire Horse kit, if you got that. TRE3. There are also 2 whole beads for those of you who like that as well. And I gave these a try again. People don't like the pierogi beads, the ravioli beads. I think they're cool. TRE5 going away. And TRE6 going away. It's this one. $12 each. Discounted price on those. And we're going to move these down. I like unusual shapes and unusual beads. I think that's why I like those other ones. Okay, what do we have here? TRE10. Okay, yesterday we had some pre-night. I think I have 3 strands of this. I have a few more strands of pre-night. Let's see, these were $16. Let's do them for $12. Give you a really good deal on these. These are not the same quality of pre-night, but these would be a great addition if you wanted to break up some of the strands, if you got some of the ones from yesterday and use some other ones, or if you just like pre-night. These are beautiful vintage pre-night rounds. Mostly the green gemmy, but there's a little bit more black in some of these. But very, very nice pre-night rounds for $12 a strand. If you like pre-night, that's a no-brainer. These are 6mm beads, 6mm rounds, and the strands on these are 16-inch strands. These are vintage. And beautiful pre-night for only $12 a strand. What a deal. I think that's a really good deal. TRE 10. Let's see, refreshing over here. Okay. That's a shame our vendor's van broke down. No appointment tomorrow. Well, things happen for a reason, right? I hope that they're get up and running again, though. And they're not down for too long. This is a vintage check strand. I think these would go really well with the pre-night. Like these two together, I think that's a pretty lovely combination. The lighter green and the kind of yellow, brown, beige look. These are vintage check glass. Only 1 strand of these left. And these beads are approximately, we'll say 10mm by about 15. And that is a 6-inch strand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 beads on there for $12. TRE 11. And I'm going to kind of grip that like that so that it sits nicer. All right. How's everybody doing out there? It gets so quiet when I do the show. Y'all don't have to stop talking. Makes me feel like I'm all alone. All alone. All by myself on the live. TRE 12. And this is $12. This is a vintage check strand. This is a long vintage check strand. That's why it's $12. Maybe these vintage check glass tube kind of tubes. I guess you call them tubes. They're four-sided. Kimberly says, I was rectifying not posting. I am still here. Good. That's a good thing to do. That's a good thing to do while you're thinking about it, right? But again, these and these could go really well together. I think there's something, again, pretty with these two colors together. So some nice combos you could do. And these are about 5 millimeters by about 15. 5 by 15, one strand available, vintage check glass. Susan says, sorry, I'm so quiet. I'm busy multitasking. Oh, I'd ask what you're doing, but I don't know if you want to say. If you don't want to say, you don't have to, but what are you up to? I'm going to put these away. I am surprised nobody grabbed these. These are nice big old beads. Some of y'all out there I know like the big beads and unusual shapes. $5 for the pair. Only $2.50 a bead. And then we have the vintage check glass in clear in the large size, faceted rounds, only $6. And I know it's also I know it's a slower day because it's the afternoon. It's the afternoon. We don't get as many viewers during the afternoon. Which is why I rely on y'all to talk more. Am I gonna shame you into talking? No, I don't do that. TRE9 and put these away. These are these beautiful peach moonstone drops. $32 for that, down from 36. That's as low as we can go on that. Those are a higher end stone. And I'm going to move 10 down here. We have 3 of these still available, 11 down here, and 12 down here. All right, I got to pick up the pace here a little bit. Whoa. Let's see here. We had these at 12. I'll bring them down to 10. Susan says, trying to find where I misplaced some beads I was going to use for a project. Parallel universe, Susan most likely has them. Ah, I see. That does happen. That definitely happens, right? Sometimes I think we enter parallel universes, shift between them, right? I definitely feel that way. Like I said, when I forget how things in my life, how situations ended or began, I'm like, that was just not the current me. So, somehow I jumped timelines and things changed. I was one time I I start worrying about my mental health, but I was in the cottage here at one point, and I went outside and I was standing in front of the car, and I swore that I closed the car door, or I swore that I opened it, one of the two. And suddenly, like, I don't remember walking through the cottage door. I was just suddenly at the car and it was in a different state than I had remembered leaving it in. And it was such a weird feeling. Um, because it was just like, I don't remember leaving the cottage. I remember walking kind of close to the door. I don't remember opening the door. I don't remember closing the car door because I was carrying things in and out. And it felt like I had jumped a timeline. I was like, this is just a new state. I don't know how I got here. Um, let's see. These have already sold. I'm just going to talk about jumping timelines more often and not, and just hold things like this, because it seems like the less I talk about the beads, the better they sell. So I'm just gonna do that from now on. Those are large and in charge, says Susan, right? Susan says, okay, alternative me, bring those back now. I know, right? Marianne says, so that's where the beads I know I had may have gone, Susan, right? I think so. I think it's true. Whoa, sorry. Okay, 13 have sold. Thank you, thank you. And let's see here. Yeah, Andrew's not talking anymore. He's like, you're not talking about my comments. I'm going away. Now he's probably busy. He has lots of things he's working on. He might be heading his way up here. I don't know. Okay, these are $2 each. I've got 6 of them. Susan says, probably Marianne. Kimberly says, dang it, I was just about to claim. Really like the one with the blue in. I know, they're really pretty, right? All right. And whoa, these are vintage check glass buttons with little acorns and an oak leaf in white. So if you want a nice little closure button, like we saw that Kim used in her piece, there's a little white vintage check glass button with acorns and an oak leaf. And these buttons, they're nice. These are smaller than some of the other check glass. These are about 14 millimeters. Cute little things. Especially if you're starting to work, like, if you want to do fall designs, I always think of that as fall. Do the acorns come? I guess they come out in the fall, right? Late summer. Okay. Let me jump over here. Okay. Okay, let's see. What I have next for y'all. These we brought back from Italy, from Venice. And this is a pair of Venetian glass beads in green with silver. You get the one big nugget, the hole goes this way. And then you get the flat bead, the hole goes. Where's the other end? The hole doesn't go. It's there's no end. So you would glue something up in there, which is kind of nice. I didn't realize that was like that. So it's a half drilled. So you get this one and you get this one. Now I can't find the hole in that one either. There they are. There it is. So half drilled and then fully drilled on that. And those are $8 for the both of those. You get the pair of them or the set of them. TRE 15. TRE 16. Marianne's acorns equal fall. That's what I thought. This is a hand carved bone. And then it's been dyed or shellacked in some way. But it's a hand carved bone. And this is a pendant. There's a hole right across there. And we have one of those. Susan says the Hubs has the TV and the sad animal promotion is playing. It's making me very sad. Oh no, that's no good. Facebook, I love to be able to send my regards for things. This is about 50 millimeters by 10 at the widest. But Facebook loves, like, it will not show me things from people, but if somebody talks about their pet passing away or crossing the rainbow bridge, it almost always, I feel like, shows me that. I may not hear from that person, for months. It may not show me that person's stuff for months, but if somebody's pet passes away and they talk about it, it's going to show me that. And it often does it very early in the morning or whenever I wake up. And it's one of the first things I see in my day. And like I said, it's great to be able to send condolences and all that. And we have been so appreciative of when that happens to ours, when people send that energy to us. But it's also very difficult because I'm very much an animal person, and it really hits me hard. It's like a sucker punch right in the morning, or sometimes I will see like 4 or 5 of them in a day, and it's really, really hard. And I know it's harder for the people going through it, but it's like, if you're going to show me stuff, make sure, like, show me some other stuff from my friends too, not just their sad times. This is TRE 17. This is 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 of these metal beads. Marianne says, I see a lot of those kind of posts. Some of them make me want to cry. I know. And I think it's because I generally always send condolences or, say I'm sorry for your loss, and always react to those posts that Facebook keeps showing them to me. But it is so hard. And it's like, some of these people I don't actually know closely. Like, they may be new friends, they may be people I've never met but asked to be my friend, and I usually accept friends if they have friends who I know, um, as well. But it does make it really hard because I'm like, I look at especially when it's cats. When it's cats, it's even harder. And I'm like, I could just imagine, even though I don't know their cat at all, it makes it really hard. Even if I don't know the people, I'm like, "Oh, poor cat. Hope it had a good life." Um, it's just sold. Thank you so much. Kimberly says, I have made a necklace with a bead like number 16. I love it. This one. Susan says, same here, William. It's gut wrenching. I know. 17 has sold multiple times. I'm sorry. I've only got one lot of those still. That's all I've got left. And like I said, if you're new and you're watching us today, we do chat a lot. So the chat is normal. I am going faster than normal showing the lots of beads though, because this is my day that I go to my pottery class, and it starts at 6. So I have to be out of here in time to get there for that. So we are going a little abnormally quick, but quicker than normal, we'll say. I love these beads. We'll see if you do too. We used to have these in the physical store. I pulled them from there for a while. Sometimes we rotate stock. The price is really good on these, so I can't really decrease the price. I've got 5 of them available. TRE 18. Kimberly says, oh no. Wait a second. Kimberly says, yeah, I hate it when people lose a pet. It breaks my heart. I know, because I know how close I am to mine, and it's so hard. Mary says, a lot of them aren't from friends. Yeah, sometimes you just see them like out of nowhere, and especially in reels. But there are now so many AI reels that talk about pets, and they show you like 3 different versions of like 3 different cats, and they mesh it all together. Or people rescued these animals and it's not the same animal, obviously, throughout the whole thing. I hate that they're doing that now. But the ones from friends or people I have friended, even though I don't know them well, because I will accept most friend requests on Facebook as long as they seem to believe like things like I do and are on the vibe check. They pass the vibe check, right? And are friends of other friends, even if I don't know them in person. Um, these are vintage check glass, and I love these beads. They're these blue and white, really pretty beads. I love how they did this. It's not a texture. It looks like a texture. It looks woven, but they're smooth ovals, and they're $7 a strand. They're 20 millimeters by about 11 or 12. It looks like 11. TRE 18. Get 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 beads for $7. That's a really good price for vintage check glass. Um, TRE 18. Got 5 of those available, and then they are gone. That's it. All right, I'm gonna put some of this away. I'm running out of space. Pre-night. We sold out of the pre-night yesterday, and nobody wants the lesser expensive pre-night today. So bizarre how one day is so different from the other, right? This is about a third of the price of yesterday. It's not the same quality, but it's nice. But yet, nobody. So strange. I always find it interesting what sells, what doesn't sell. TRE 11. Last one of those that we've got. $12 only. TRE 12. $12 only. Nice big strand, long strand. I don't know if I told you the size on this strand. This is, yeah, a 16-inch strand of vintage check glass for only $12. And let's go ahead and we're going to put these buttons away as well. These little acorns, oak leaves and acorns. Vintage check, $2 each only. $2 each. All right, 15, we're going to move over here along with our penny. 16 is this pendant, carved bone, and 18 is the vintage check glass. Okay. TRE 19. Make sure I didn't do 19 yet, right? No. Okay. We've had some people purchasing some hematite things from us recently. I'm going to do this. We have one of these left. We had a number of them. We're down to one left. I'm going to do it for $10. This is a hematite collar and was made in Hong Kong. It is vintage, but it's this hematite collar, and they are graduated from about, say, 9 millimeters to the longest one is about 28. And they are flat backed and they're beveled on the edges. And we've got one of those available, one left, TRE 19, only $10. And then up next, we have TRE 20, and this is only $9. And these are, it's a whole lot of buttons. Those are cool, says Kimberly. I think so, right? You don't have to use them all together. Some people do keep the collars together and use them that way. But you can, use them for some earrings. Those would make some really cool earrings You'd make a bunch of different pairs if you just use one or two on each side. So 2 to 4 of them per pair. Dangle them from some chain. I think that could be really cool. Lots of different ways to use them. But just one available, down to $10 only. So, and then we have these bright orange buttons. You know, I love the citrus colors. So if you're making things in citrus colors like I have been lately, these are great. Great for a closure. Vintage check glass buttons. These buttons are, about 10 to 11 millimeters. Bright orange, really cool. Add some citrus color to your life. One strand left, $9. TRE 20. Okay, this is another half drilled. And this reminds me of like a little flower vase. We brought this back from Italy as well. And it's a beautiful kind of, it looks like a flower vase to me, but it's open here. The hole does not go all the way through. I think this would be cool to either wire wrap or just use it on your desk and make little tiny little beaded flowers with it. Kimberly says pair that with bright beads and be gorgeous. This, yes. This too. Make little Andrew showed how to make wired flowers at one point in one of his tutorials. If you made them in miniature, he made them a little bit bigger, but if you made them in miniature, this would be a cute little thing to like sit on your desk with little beaded flowers coming out of. But it is a souvenir from Italy. We brought it back from Venice. Really pretty. $12, one of them available. TRE 21. All right. TRE 15, $8. We're gonna put these back. These are the other Venetian beads. Venetian glass. And oops, for this one, put these in the right order. And let's put this away. I have a smaller bag for this. Let's put this in a smaller bag. This doesn't need to be in a huge bag. And put this away. Just one of those left. Put the TRU 18s away. No grabs on that one. I love those. I don't know why people hold back on those. Those are really fun. And let's leave this out because I feel like that's not been out for very long. These and these. TRE 22. One, two, three, 5, 6, 7, 8. I've got 8 of these. $4 each. TRE 22. $4 each. 8 of them available. These are these beautiful vintage check, kind of dimpled beads. And the beads themselves are about 7 millimeters. Yeah, about 7 millimeters. And these are shorty strands. These are about 4-inch strands or so. Get them for $4. And there are 8 of them available. Get the rest of them back in the bag. Where's the strand? TRE 23. These are labradorite hearts. Beautiful labradorite carved hearts. And they're $10 a strand. Each strand is about a 10-inch strand. And the hearts are about 16 by 15 millimeters. And I've got two of them. I'll show you the other strand here. Oh, the other strand broke. The other strand broke, but there they are. Carved labradorite hearts. And that's TRE 23. Okay, I'm gonna put 19 away. That's the hematite collar for only $10. And number 20 away. It's those bright orange buttons. TRE 20. TRE 21 is the Venetian glass. $12. Carried that back from Italy. Move 22 down here. Move 23 down here. Let's one, three, four, five of these. Five of these are $8 each. These are onyx chips. No, these are rainbow obsidian. Rainbow obsidian. And you'll see kind of those rainbow colors coming through. Rainbow obsidian chips. And these are $8 a strand, 5 strands available. And these strands are about 14 inches. And the beads on them, well, they're about 5 to about 8 millimeters, depending on which ones you're looking at. I think these would go lovely with these hearts, for example. Pull out some of those green tones in there. Really pretty. TRE 24. We've sold one of the 23s. Thank you so much. And let's see here. TRE 26. No, TRE 25 first. Yesterday, we had some beautiful shell coins. And so I found these today. If you got the shell coins yesterday, or even if you didn't, you could pair these with them. These are these beautiful shell drops. Really pretty. I think they go really well with the coins from yesterday. I think they were yesterday. Let me see if I have them here. I took everything over to the packing area. But these are these beautiful vintage shell drops, flat drops. Got those kind of points on them, which I think are really fun. There were some beads like this in the one that Elaine did as well, I believe. We were looking at earlier. And these strands are vintage 16-inch strands. And these are about 15 by 9 millimeters. Thickness wise, they're about 2 millimeters. TRE 25. TRE 26. This is a, sometimes we have vintage pieces of jewelry that we sell. This is one of those. And there's all this beautiful vintage plastic on here. Hey, Susie, thanks for joining us. Good to see you here. How's things? You're having some things done today, right? I was gonna check in later. You can see this was already put together as a necklace. It's got this little screw on toggle clasp, whatever you call that. But there's also some really juicy vintage plastic. It's all vintage plastic. Really cool. Only $10. I love this. I kind of like it how it's done, just like it is. It feels like something I would have made. But we've got one of these available, and it's $10 for the whole thing, which is a deal if you know what usually we have to charge for vintage plastic. So you get the whole thing for $10, TRE 26. Lynn says, I love that. The beads feel very smooth. Yes, they do. Susie says, wonderful. Thank you. Oh, good. And hi, Len, by the way. Thanks for joining us. TRE 27. We've got 3 of these available. This is vintage check glass. Only $6 a strand, which is really good. I found these. I don't know where these were hiding, but I feel like I haven't seen them in a while. TRE 27 are these really cool designs. And they are vintage check, almost like a smoky quartz. Sometimes smoky quartz has kind of that almost greenish look. These are kind of in between that kind of green, brown, smoky color. And I love this kind of, they're so smooth. They're like little ice cubes. And these beads are about 13 by 22 millimeters. Lynn says no mold lines on those, right? Yeah, these were done well. These were done well. You're not going to see a lot of mold lines on those. That's what we like. The older you get with the vintage plastic, oftentimes there were no mold lines, which is really nice. All right, let me see here. Let me make sure I refresh this. Marion says, I was thinking lima beans. These? Yes, I could see that. They have that look, right? They're really fun. I like these a lot. TRE 27. Okay. Oops, I got to clear the decks here a little bit. Like I said, I'm going a little faster today because it is my day to go to pottery. So if you have any questions, please feel free to ask them in the comments and I will do my best to answer. If I forget to do a size or there's a size you need repeated or material that I forget to say or anything like that, ask me. Like I said, I'm suffering from allergies today, so it has been difficult working through a brain fog. Look at that rainbow obsidian. It's been difficult working through the brain fog. So I appreciate if I forget something, asking if you want to see something. Okay. Oops. What was this for? Oops. I was like, those were the same price. This goes to that. This is the tag for this. Okay. I've only got one strand of this left. I'm going to bring down the price by $10. Was 32, now 22. This is a pink opal, vintage pink opal strand. Really pretty pink opal. One strand available, these gorgeous pink opal nuggets. This is a 16-inch strand. The nuggets are approximately about 10 millimeters by 11, but they do vary. Let's see here. Susie said, I just got Allegory 24 hours. If you would like one, my head is so congested. Thank you. You know, I'm taking so much. I hate to add anything more here. Jennifer says, wait, how are you still here? I'm normally here until about 5:30 today. That's pretty normal, but I did talk a lot in the beginning. We're almost done. We're almost done. Thank you, Susie. I might take you up on it, but for now, I'm gonna stick with what I've got. It's wild. The allergies this year, I feel like, are hitting hard. All right, so that is the pink opal, vintage pink opal strand. Only one available, was $32, now 22. PRE29. We've had these. I said that we had more of these at one point the other night. We had only a pair of these. And here we have a lot of these. Not a lot, but one lot. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. So 5 pairs for $6. These are these red and black vintage check. We had a pair of these the other night. Somebody grabbed them up, I believe. So I found these, and this is the last of these that I think we have. These beads are 25 by 17, approximately. I think we had multiple people who wanted the other ones. So if you missed out and you're watching, there's a chance to grab those for only $6. Jennifer says, I thought I missed you for sure. You did not. Not yet. Not yet. All right. These are vintage check glass. Last one of the night. Or the afternoon today, I guess. Not night. TRE 30. Vintage check glass. Black. Black is a great neutral color. for working with. And these are kind of a twisted rectangle or something like that. I don't know what you want to call them. They're really cool. And each strand is only $8, and there are 2 of them available. We sold 29. Thank you so much. That one is sold out. These are about 10 by 15 millimeters. Nice blacks, go with anything, but look at this kind of black with this peach, pink opal, peachy pink opal, really pretty. Black with the kind of smoky quartz looking beads, vintage check. And that's it, y'all. That's all I've got for y'all today. Excuse me. I'm going to run because I am starting to get to the point where I'm going to be running late. I am going to invoice after I get back tonight. So if you're watching the replay, you'll get your invoices in probably tonight. I may wait until tomorrow morning to invoice, depending on how my pottery class goes and how tired I am after these wild allergies today. But I'll either invoice tonight or tomorrow morning for the first round. So thank you so much. Marianne says, enjoy your classroom. It may be nap time now. It sounds like a nap time. That'd be good. I'd like a nap time today. But y'all have a great rest of your afternoon and evening, and we'll see you back here tomorrow at 7:30 p.m. Eastern time. Since we're not meeting with our vendor tomorrow, we'll definitely be back in time for that. So we'll see you then. All right. Have a great one, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in today.